Hey guys, it's Nick. Thanks for tuning into Long Island Wargaming, and this video is a Dwarves versus Warriors of Chaos battle report. And it's going to be at 2500. I'm taking a break from the Skeven for a bunch of different reasons. The new guy that I'm playing, he's working on some Warriors of Chaos. He wants to work on the 2,500 point range, so I'll appease him there. Plus, not everyone right now is willing to pay me at 3K, let alone play my Skaven, so it's not a big deal to me. I wanted to play around with these guys a little bit. And since it was a pickup game, I put a really quick list together, and it's not that great, but you'll see it'll be a very interesting game, and I'll go over the army list composition in a second. First picture up is spells. My opponent is rolling in Slanesh, so we got Phantasmagoria, Hysterical Frenzy, Slicing Shards, Pavan of Slanesh, and Cacophonic Choir. And with that being said, he does have a level 4 caster of Slanesh, and he's got the familiar, so he's got a 5th spell, and then he has the Demon Prince. He's actually hiding all the way in the corner. A Demon Prince of Slanesh, interesting choice, I like it. This is a proxy game, so bear with us, but for the most part, the models are all there. It's just they're all unpainted with limited proxies, actually. So from left to right for my opponent, he's got the Demon Prince of Slanesh, 18 Nurgle Warriors, Warhounds all over the place, 4 Skull Crushers, a Hell Cannon, some more Warriors of Nurgle. There's a BSB hiding in there somewhere, 2 units of War Dogs, and a bunch of chariots. Those are both Gorbeast chariots. So for my army, I'm going to go into, from left to right, Ironbreakers, Cannon, Quarrelers, Hammers in front of them, Longbeards. Those gunmen are going to be the Iron Drakes, and then a unit of Slayers. So I decided to challenge myself and see what I could do without the silly War Machine list, and just went infantry heavy. The Ironbreakers to the left have a runesmith with a spell-breaking rune, and I believe a shield, and the same to the Warriors unit in the middle, those Longbeards. The Longbeards in the middle also have the BSB. The Hammerers to the left of them have a Thane general with the 50-point Fortitude runes, which give him, I believe, +1 toughness and 5 up ward save. Now, I do have the Iron Drake set up to go into the building turn 1, and since they are move and fire, they can fire, which will be wonderful. And the Slayers, I decided, will be best on the flank next to this building so I can protect myself from being flanked, as I said. But since they're unbreakable, they're not going anywhere. And I can worry about dealing with the chariots and whatnot. And I can use my Strength 4 ability, or my Strength ability going up to the Toughness 6 of the Gorbeast chariots. So figured that would be pretty cool. And if he gets impact hits on me, they still attack as they die. So here's a shot again of my opponent's deployment. The Skull Crushers are in the center, so that should be interesting. And the 2 Gorbeast chariots will be moving slowly, but they'll probably be dealing with the Slayers. So my opponent does some Vanguard moves, and then proceeds to take turn 1. So Skull Crushers move up full, the dogs just get in my way. Anthony is my new opponent who's been gaming with us, is a little newer to the current play style. He played in 6th edition regularly, but his chaff he's been kind of throwing away early, so he'll learn how to use that a bit better. But it gives me an opportunity to maybe leapfrog to his guys, so we'll see how that goes. But he does some magic. He scored 10 dice in Winds of Magic, and I got 6. He goes for Pavan of Slanesh, and actually ends up dealing a wound to the Runesmith in the Ironbreaker unit. Since I let that one through, he goes for Choir on the Ironbreakers, and I was able to dispel it. And the same for Slicing Shards. I was able to dispel that too. So, with Anthony being the rookie of the group, he picks out a target for the Hell Cannon. He picks out the Longbeards, which I don't think he realized is immune to panic, and plus they're still going to get some armor after the Strength 5 hit. The better target would have probably been the Hammerers, but, you know, live and learn. And he is able to do a couple of wounds here, which is fine. So it's my turn. I decide that I need to go ahead and lock that Demon Prince into combat. So issue a charge on the War Dogs, but they flee. I am able to redirect into the Demon Prince. And this is good because, I mean, they always get their shield wall extra bonus thingy, but the +1 strength in the charge might be helpful. And I made an error The war dogs actually, I charged them with the hammers and they fled. I was kind of hoping he'd stay there and let me kill him, but he was smart enough to flee with both the charged units. I didn't take a redirect test to charge the skull crushers, which I should have done because I would have been running in there with strength 7 and he couldn't flee because they're immune to psychology. That would have been great. I didn't do that. As a side note to myself, I did it in hypothetical roll up and I would have gotten the redirect test on leadership 10, and I actually would have made the charge with like 10 inches. So that was disappointing for me, and we laughed about it, but it would have been really nice to get all that armor penetration on the freaking Skull Crusher. The Longbeards move up, but not too far. I want the Skull Crushers to have to attack the hammers and not be able to get into the Longbeards because there's not enough space for them to fit in. And the Iron Drakes are actually able to do 3 wounds here, knocking out one of the Skull Crushers, which actually provides enough room for them to get into the Longbeards now. The Quarrelers really don't do anything to them, and the cannon decides to blow up turn 1. And for combat, I go ahead and lose 10 guys, which is terrible. And I proceed to do no wounds to him, which is expected, I guess. I mean, I was hitting on 4s, wounding on 4s, but he still has a good armor save. He was at -2 armor with the armor pen from the runesmith and just strength 4, but between armor and ward save, he's in a good shape. So Warrior's turn 2, he goes ahead and smashes the Skull Crushers into this brick of hammers, which I'm really excited about. I think this should be a really good fight. I'm going to be strength 6. I mean, he's going to have a lot of attacks killing my guys quickly, but you know what? I'm stubborn, and I've got weapon skill 5, so I'm hitting on 4, strength 6, so I'm wounding on 2s. I should be able to kill a whole bunch of them, or all of them. These dogs rally, and as per my suggestion, I had them rally this way. This way it didn't block the warriors from coming through. And here's the lay of the land. The Gorby's chariots are now at the 12-inch line, or the halfway line. You can see I actually backed the Troll Slayers up in my turn because you know what? There's no good reason for them to go forward. So, and he's not going to send the chariots into the building, obviously. So I played safe. The Longbeards also next to the building are chaffed up by war dogs now. So he gets 7 dice for Wind's Magic, I get 5. He goes for Choir again, but I dispel it. I've got 2 scrolls and 2 channels, so I'm actually able to put up a good fight throughout the game when it comes to dispelling stuff. So in shooting, he scores a direct hit onto these guys, but it's right before I realized, you know, let's make sure we pass our leadership test. He actually fails the leadership test, and the hell pit, geez, Skaven mode, the hell cannon decides to run up like 6 or 7 inches, so he's trying to get into the battle, and that shot did not get off successfully. And in this combat, I was actually able to score 2 wounds somehow onto the Demon Prince, which he'll get back because he does have Soul Feeder, but I still have 5 guys, which means I'm a rank, and I'm stubborn on Leadership 10, so I'm not going anywhere. So this game is filled with unlikely occurrences, and this is the first one, and I encourage you to watch to the end because there's a really, really huge one at the end, which is a game changer. But the Skull Crushers only kill 3 hammers. It makes no sense. Anthony just had shit rolls. It was bad. So my hammers go ahead and knock off another Skull Crusher and 1. And yeah, so I'm stubborn, and it's a push here. Actually, I might have won, so I reformed, it looks like. But yeah, I'm stuck fighting these 2 Skull Crushers. There's 4 wounds left that I have to be able to get in. So Dwarf turn 2, I go ahead and issue a charge onto the War Dogs with the Longbeards. He flees, I redirect leadership test so I can hit the Warriors, but I fall short. Even for Dwarves, it was kind of sad that I missed this charge. I think I needed like a 5 and I rolled up less than that. So I actually am not fighting the Warriors, which kind of stinks because I was really hoping for that plus 1 strength in the charge. That would have been wonderful. So that would have been strength 5, and there's a Runesmith in there, so it would have been -3 armor. That would have been perfect for the Chaos armor. This side of the table is physically a mess because we only really used half the table, so we throw over our dead guys over here, but those war dogs are still alive, and those Gorby's chariot still chugging along, and I decide, hey, it doesn't do me any good to rush into combat with them, and it's not like they can go anywhere else. So I move the Slayers back a little bit and continue to shoot with the Iron Drakes. I was able to deny all of his magic, so there are no pictures there. In combat, the Ironbreakers, I feel like it's time to issue a challenge. I don't know why I didn't do this sooner, but only the champion dies this turn, which is fine, and I'm going to hold the Demon Prince up for just a bit longer. The Skull Crusher decided to start doing better. There were two left, and the two guys did more damage than the three guys did, but this one guy sitting here has one wound on him, so I gotta do two more wounds, but I did take a bunch of casualties, but who cares? I'm stubborn. So for Warriors of Chaos turn 3, the Gorby's Chariots go ahead and issue some charges, but they false charge, and they only stumble forward a little bit, which is great. The Slayers are keeping them at bay, and they're not even fighting them. And he makes this charge here against the Longbeards, which I'm a little bit apprehensive about because these guys are Nurgle, they've got halberds, they're going to be striking first, he's going to be knocking down a whole lot of them. And here's the rest of his phase. You can see the warriors move up real close to behind the Skull Crusher. This way, once he dies, they can move in and finish off the Hammerers. He goes for Choir again, but no dice. The Hell Cannon actually fails its leadership again and stumbles forward just almost close enough to assault the building, which would have been funny, but he falls short. So here, the Skull Crusher decides to focus all of his attacks on the Thane and kills my general, which sucks, and I'm unable to actually kill the Skull Crusher, to my surprise. It's terrible. I really thought I'd be able to finish him off this turn, and he actually rolled up a whole bunch of armor saves, so finally some dice are working in Anthony's favor here. I was able to reform, so I have a rank and all my attacks up against the Skull Crusher for the next round. So let's take a moment here. This is when I decided for Anthony, he needed to start bringing his own dice, because the shit that occurred here is absurd. This unit of warriors started with 18 guys in the beginning of the game. The Iron Drakes dwindled them down to maybe 16 or 14, and essentially he has all these attacks with the warriors, and he gets a bunch of wounds through. I ended up saving a few wounds with armor, which is a 6-up, and then I've got the shield wall, and I end up saving the remaining of them with 5 and 6s, since I've got shield wall this turn. He ends up doing no wounds to me. I end up doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wounds to him, and he ends up losing this combat that he should have won. I don't even know how I hit as many guys as I did with the Nurgle in play. It was just sad. He should have won this combat, which probably would have won him the game. These warriors would have came around and cleaned up the hammerers, but nope, the impossible happened. Not a single wound to the Longbeards. He needed like Snake Eyes or a 3, and he did not get it even with the BSB reroll nearby, and the Longbeards go ahead and chase these guys down. Holy shit, I'm back in this game. I thought I was going to lose. I mean, yeah, the Slayer's alive, and the Iron Drakes are dwindling some stuff from shooting, but I was not expecting that, so just another wave of ridiculous dice rolling and unexpected events on Anthony's behalf. And here's just the whole shot of the battlefield to show you what's still alive. Got the Quarrelers, the Troll Slayers, the Hammerers are slowly getting dwindled down, and the Longbeards are all the way back in the end zone. So for Dwarf turn 3, I go ahead and make this charge against the Gorby's Chariot, and I successfully make it, which is awesome. It's good because these guys don't have shield wall, so I'll take advantage of the +1 strength in the charge. In combat, I do decide to go with 2 weapons instead of the great weapons, because you know what, he's got a 3-up armor. I feel like I could sneak a whole bunch of 1s and 2s through there based on the fact that it's going to be, well, I didn't take this into consideration, it's Nurgle Chariots, so it's going to be 5s for me to hit him, but it's going to be 4s to wound, which is great because of the Slayer ability, and we'll see how that goes. So I swift reform these Dwarf Warriors, so they're coming back to deal with these Chaos Warriors. And I maybe should have faced the Hell Cannon a little bit more in case the thing decides to fail another leadership test and run at me. I don't know. But yeah, those are my moves. So crossbowmen do some wounds to the warriors over here. The Trollhammer Torpedo ends up scoring a wound. I was hoping for more than one, but it's pretty cool. It's nice because Nothing strength 8. This is toughness 2, toughness 6. I'm finally wounding on 2s against one of these chariots here. So this building really helped me out with the Iron Drakes. They're doing pretty cool. I'm working on the models currently. I think they're going to look awesome on the battlefield. So the rest of the unit unloads their shots into this Gorby's chariot, and I go ahead and finish it off. So it was 4s to hit, which is alright, but then I had 5s to wound, and then it was -3 armor, so I was able to take that thing down real quickly. Maybe I would have been better off not putting the Slayers in and just shooting next round with these guys against the second Gorby's chariot. Because the Slayers didn't do as great as I thought. He focuses down the 3 giant Slayers that are in there because they have more attacks and strength. And he kills those 3 and one of the troopers. And honestly, he ended up making so many ward saves. I really thought doubling my attacks but having no armor pen would have been great. Because even with the great weapons, I still wouldn't have been wounding on anything better than a 4, because it would have been, let's see, strength 5 against toughness 6. I still would have needed 5, so I would have used the 4 ability, so I just figured double my attacks, and then I'll sneak more dice through. Nope, he got a whole bunch of armor saves. I don't even think I do a wound to it. So the Ironbreakers finally die, and the reason they die is because he got a 6 on Thunderstomp, and I wasn't able to use Shield Wall, which was saving so many guys. That 5-up parry save in combat was awesome, but since stomps or thunderstomps or distributed desperate shooting, I don't think you can use shield wall, so he finally finished them off, and he's going to combat reform them to face the building and the rest of the combats. And I finally finished off this last Skull Crusher. I take 2-3 wounds in the mix, but I'm ready to take on these warriors, which I should lose pretty quickly. And here's the field at the end of Dwarf turn 3. Lots of casualties everywhere, but I think you get the point. And now Warriors of Chaos turn 4, this is where shit gets stupid. So this Demon Prince issues a charge against the Iron Drakes from across the battlefield, okay? And Anthony's like, do you want to even bother rolling? I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, he's got the Dragonbane gem. I was like, oh, okay. Well, he's going to get the 2-up ward save against all these shots and probably not even get any. I was like, but you know what? Alright, whatever. I'll do it for fun. I end up scoring a bunch of hits. This guy has 2 wounds left on him. So after I need 5s to hit, because I'm not suffering the -1 with the Dwarf crafted, but he is long range. So 5s to hit, and then it's 4s to wound, so I get a handful of wounds through, which is crazy. He now has a 4-up armor save after I do -3 to him, and he gets a bunch of them. 2 wounds are left to roll up. So instead of using his 5-up ward save for demons, he decides to use his 2-up versus flaming attacks. I'm like, alright, this was a waste of time. He rolls 2 1s. The Iron Drakes kill the Demon Prince on a counter shot. Absurd. Like, I just kind of stared at Anthony. I felt like shit. I felt absolutely terrible that this happened. It shouldn't have happened. The fact that his Soul Feeder was gaining him no wounds back with the combat against the freaking Ironbreakers, it was just this was terrible. So this is why you could see that this game is just so unlikely. He rolled like shit the entire time. It was just terrible. I don't even know what to say. This was just ridiculous. So what else could possibly go wrong? I don't know. Let's find out. So he makes a charge against these hammerers. The Hell Cannon finally makes a shot, but then sways off course. And then here it is. What happens when you kill every hammer except the last one? You get stuck there because they're stubborn. So this is just terrible. So essentially all the hammerers are dead, and this guy is just going to chill. And this ends up being a waste of time. I quickly regret not using great weapons, so, you know, it takes forever to kill this thing. So the Longbeards decide to clear out some chaff here in my Dwarf turn 4. And now you can see that when it comes to shooting, my shots are limited. I've got the Quarrelers and the Iron Drakes. All I can really shoot at is dogs or the Hell Cannon. So I take some shots at the Hell Cannon. The Trollhammer torpedo misses, and he's got a nice armor save and ward save. Nothing really happens. So, behind the warriors, I kill the dogs. I decide, hey, you know what, maybe I'll overrun a little bit. It'll get me nice and close to the warriors. I'll make a charge next turn. I roll a 12. So now I have exposed my flank to the warriors that are probably going to go ahead and kill the hammer, turn around, and flank me in Warriors of Chaos turn 5. I just handed the game back to Anthony. And there you go, Hammer is dead. He talks about maybe going to kill the Quarrelers. I make a face. Then he realizes, oh shit. And this is what happens. This ends up being a little bit more productive. So I've got 3 wounds on this thing. He has like 4 or 5 wounds. I know the Gore Beast Chariot is ridiculous. So this is taking forever. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about the change made to the Slayers. I was never a huge fan of them. I think they're cool and all. But at least in previous books, their strength would go up to the toughness of the opponent, up to toughness 6, strength 6. Now it's just they always wound on a 4+, but their strength is not modified. So I'm not doing any armor penetration whatsoever since the freaking Slayers are only strength 3. So I don't think I really care for this new rule. I think I'd rather have the strength be increased and get capped off, because how often are you fighting anything more than toughness 6 and just, proceed to get a armor penetration? But oh well. And the warriors do make a charge into those Longbeards, unfortunately, so I would have been better off hiding them in the corner if I wanted to win the game. Warriors of Chaos turn 5 shooting. Hell Cannon kills 3 crossbowmen. The Longbeards suffer 5 wounds, not as many as I was anticipating, but hey, I am outranking my opponent, so I'm stubborn, which is stupid, but I've got a BSB Thane in there with Leadership 10, so I'm not going anywhere. And he goes ahead and reforms so he can get 2 ranks, so next time he can dwindle me down and I won't be stubborn anymore. And I guess this was the turn that I ended up actually killing the Gore Beast Chariot. So it's finally dead. I've reformed to face the Hell Cannon so I can go kill that thing maybe. And I am chaffed up by dogs here. So those dogs, I do go to charge in my turn 5. They flee. And I try to redirect to the Hell Cannon, but I fall short and false charge. The Iron Drakes are able to get a few wounds onto the Hell Cannon, so he's at 3 wounds, but not enough to kill him yet. I really need to start picking up some points here if I want to go for the win. Especially since in combat, I lose my Longbeards. So, yeah. So, he feeds me some dogs here, 30 points, no big deal. And then in my closing out turn, I finish off the Hell Cannon with some shooting because the Troll Slayers go ahead and false charge again. So at least I got some points for that. But that was the game, and it was a very unlikely game. Ends up being a tie. We come pretty close. The thing is I want to kind of rationalize like some of my decisions and be like, well, if I saved the Longbeards, I would have won. But even so, I shouldn't have won anyway, because the fact that I just killed stuff so quickly and unfairly, like the Demon Prince shouldn't have died like that with the 2-up versus Flaming. The Hell Cannon, yeah, he was across the battlefield. That's because Anthony failed like 3 Leadership 9 tests and essentially fed me the monster when I could shoot him in close range. Didn't make any sense to me. The thing should have been back there shooting the whole damn time, but man, the leadership tests that he had to pass for the Hell Cannon, Leadership 9, he had to roll 2 Snake Eyes for his Demon Prince to die. His Warriors of Chaos did no wounds whatsoever. I mean, he got wounds, but after Armor and Shield Wall, I was unable to, I denied all of his attacks, but he was unable to kill any of the Longbeards in the first Warrior combat. And then with Nurgle Warriors, I was able to kill 5 of them, 6 of them. It just didn't make any sense. So it was a very unlikely game. I'm surprised it came this close. We decided that we'll do another game. I'll bring the same list at 2500. He will bring a similar list, alter it a little bit so he can try some new stuff because he's still trying to figure out what models to buy, because this is actually my Warriors of Chaos army. He's going to try to make up a Warriors army. He's between Warriors and Vampires at this point. But interesting game. I I don't even know what to say. The Demon Prince alone is just silly. So. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I apologize for all the unpainted warriors and dwarf models, but I just usually don't use these armies. I've been using my Skaven and Ogres, so I'll get to them, I promise. And for those of you that only watch my battle reports, I am creating a fan-based army, a angel army or a heavens army. Check that out if you're interested in some fluffy fan-based stuff. But otherwise, stay tuned for the next battle report, and it will be Dwarfs versus Warriors of Chaos again. Later, guys.